What's going on YouTube? Today, we are going to talk about David Rockafeller and a message that has been passed along through social media, which reached this young lady here, which I'm going to play in a second. And we're going to uncover a few truths and a few myths about exactly who he was and what he represented. So let's get into it.
Build their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicine that will make them even sicker and cause other diseases for which we will create even yet more medicine. We will render them docile and weak before us by our power. They will grow depressed, slow, and obese, and when they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus their attention towards money and material goods so that they may never connect with their inner self. We will distract them with fornication, external pleasures, and gains so they may never be one with the oneness of it all.
Later in his career, after the war and alongside his work at Chase, Rockafeller took a more active role in his family's business dealings, working with his brothers in the 2 floors of Rockefeller Center known as Room 5600. He reorganized the family's myriad business and philanthropic ventures. The men kept regular brothers meetings where they made decisions on matters of common interest and reported on noteworthy events of each other's lives. Rockafeller served as secretary to the group, making notes of each meeting. The notes are now in the family archive and will be released in the future following the deaths of his brothers Winthrop, 1973, John III, 1978, Nelson, 1979, and Lawrence, 2004. David became sole head of the family with the important involvement of his elder son, John Jr. Let's go through this a little bit more. There's a lot here. Throughout his life, Rockafeller was accused of being part of an internationalist conspiracy seeking to undermine the interests of the United States and promote a more unified global order. One of Rockefeller's most prominent accusers was Georgia Congressman Larry McDonald, who in the 1975 book, The Rockefeller File, wrote, "The Rockefellers and their family are allies. They have for at least 50 years been carefully following our plan to use their economic power to gain political control of first America and then the rest of the world." Do I mean conspiracy? Yes, I do. I am convinced there is such a plot. International in scope, generations old in planning, and incredibly evil in intent. In response to those accusations of this type, David Rockafeller himself wrote in this 2003 book, Memoirs. For more than a century, ideological extremists at either end of the political spectrum have seized upon well-publicized incidents such as my encounter with Castro to attack the Rockefeller family for the influence they claim we wield over American political and economic institutions. Some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States.
He was this unbelievable human being, respectful to everyone. He introduced his driver as his colleague, not his driver. He would never say, "This is my driver." He said, "It's my colleague." And David started to explain to me world politics. So David would say, "Jeffrey, money is going to be sort of the most important things. People don't understand money. You seem to have this knack for money." I said to David, "Tell me about your life. What was the worst and the best part of your life?" So David said, when I grew up, everyone knew I was a Rockefeller. They didn't know that my father told me he would not leave me a dime, no money. But every time we went out to eat, me and my 5 friends in school, they would leave me the bill. They would expect me to pick up the check because I was a Rockefeller. And he said, I was chairman of Chase Bank. And he said, I remember like it was yesterday, one of the headlines in Time magazine said, David, please fire yourself. So he thought that there was a world that existed that would be a combination of both politics and business and leadership. What do I mean? He formed something called the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission is some spooky stuff. People said it was something, the Illuminati, there's some mystery about it, people that ran the world. It was politicians, but David said most countries, the politicians get elected for 4 years or 8 years, separate from the royal families in England or in the Middle East. Someone's there for 4 years and then they're not there anymore. The most important people to have stability and consistency would be businessmen. So he formed this Trilateral Commission of businessmen and politicians from 3 major continents. So it was the North Americans, the Europeans, and the Asians. So he said to me, would you like to be on the Trilateral Commission? Now, I was 30 years old, 32 years old. I said, great. And he said, well, you have to fill out this application so they have your bio. And I looked at the list of people, and it was Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, Paul Volcker, every great leader in America, the Asians, the Japanese, and with a very long description of their history. And they asked me to fill in what I would like to have written. And I wrote Jeffrey Epstein, comma, just a good kid.
Population could easily exceed 6 billion, 8 billion by the year 2020. The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident. Unless nations will agree to work together to tackle these cross-border challenges posed by population growth, overconsumption of resources, and environmental degradation, the prospects for a decent life on our planet will be threatened.
Rockefellers were the wealthiest family in the world and used a secret system called the waterfall method to continue growing their wealth for 7 generations. I'm going to expose what the waterfall method is. John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in 1870 and took control of the entire oil industry, becoming insanely wealthy. But that's not even why he's considered the savviest man to walk the planet. During this time, there were many other wealthy families, such as the Vanderbilts, who were actually wealthier than the Rockefellers, but sadly lost their money 4 generations down. John D. Rockefeller knew this could be a problem for his family after he passed away, so he created the famous Rockefeller waterfall method to ensure his family never went broke. Here's how the waterfall method works. Every single individual in the Rockefeller family received a very large life insurance policy. The beneficiaries of those life insurance policies always tied back to the trust, and inside the trust was a cash value life insurance policy, which was used as the family bank. Family members could take loans equivalent to the amount inside the cash value.
Followed the money. Mr. Beast recently partnered with the Rockefeller Foundation. He's also now pushing lab-grown meat. You can see him parading around the Upside Food headquarters, a cultivated chicken producer. What started as spectacular generosity and large-scale charitable acts has now turned into first partnering with the Rockefeller Foundation and now promoting lab-grown meat to nearly 500 million subscribers. To me, the most immediate red flag is a lack of transparency around overlapping business relationships. This is the CEO of Beast Industries. He's also served on Upside Food's board of directors since 2020 and acts as a strategic advisor advisor and investor. From everything I've seen, this material financial interest was not disclosed in the video, despite it reaching 70 million viewers, many of them being children and teenagers. Looking at Upside Foods, other major investors like Bill Gates, Tyson Foods, and Cargill reveal what many see as a very concerning pattern. Philanthropic framing can advance technological solutions that consolidate corporate control over food production at every level. This is not agriculture. Cultivated meat is produced in stainless steel bioreactors identical to those used in pharmaceutical manufacturing. I believe the path we are headed is a very concerning one, and it's up to us to reject it and support small American farmers.
John D. Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire, often hand out dimes and nickels to people he met.
Let us, with faith in God, resolve to play our part worthily in building a better world.
By 1896, Rockefeller controlled 90% of America's oil industry. In today's currency, his wealth would be over $50 billion. However, their fortune and power made many ordinary Americans deeply unhappy. The public held strong resentment toward the oil tycoon's luxurious lifestyle, especially his aggressive business actor. Critics claimed his wealth was built on the bones of small businesses. To change this image, Rockefeller's son, John Jr., decided to take action to win back the public's trust. John Rockefeller worked to publicize his father's charitable efforts, hoping these actions would ease public criticism. People often saw Rockefeller handing out coins, encouraging thrift and saving. Later, he began donating his wealth systematically, funding education, healthcare, and public welfare projects. This was an attempt to address the controversies surrounding the family's fortune. As his visibility grew, Rockefeller was no longer seen as just a cold business figure. He became a popular celebrity in his own right. Warm welcomes like this one at a Florida train station showed how he had successfully built a new image as an American cultural symbol. Through media and film influence, Rockefeller gradually transformed in the public eye. He went from being seen as a ruthless tycoon to a philanthropist and celebrity. This new image showed a different side of wealthy life, one that included giving back.
I send heartiest greetings to each and everyone who is privileged to be present.
Picking up what I'm putting down. Do I need to go any further into this? Look around you. Look around you. Everything that we watch, everything that we consume on Thanksgiving, on Valentine's Day, on the 4th of July, Black Friday, to the arguments we have in these comment sections on social media, to these billionaires, these banks, to the interest that goes up on every single thing that we touch. Do you not see a correlation? You think the Epstein files are just a coincidence? Do you think these uploads that you see on YouTube and Facebook that get took down, you think that's by chance? You think that is weird that they're suddenly resurfacing after they've been indiscriminately removed? Or why the algorithm works for certain people and not other people? Yeah. They all out to get us. And they put this veil up in front of our face to distract us from their true motives. And I said it before. Their only objective is to make sure that their family, their friends, they never suffer. They never go through any of the stuff that we deal with. Send them out to the slaughter. Let them destroy their bodies. Let them go in the ground still being in debt. Let their loved ones suffer and continue to go through all of this bullshit. We're going to be good. And we're going to keep on making them look at everything that is happening as it's the main focus, when it's all just a distraction from the fact that you guys are not using or utilizing your brains in order to counteract what we are actually doing to you guys. so that we can maintain our celebrity, our appearance in public with the suit and ties and the fancy cars and jewelry, giving you off this impression that you too can live like this, but it's going to come at a price. All of it is bull. All of it. This whole system that we're under is bullshit. That's why that man had all of those heart surgeries. He had a total of 7 heart surgeries. What were you trying to fight for? What did you see that you didn't want to deal with on the other side? Right. What do you need $2,000 billion for? $3,000 billion for? Why did you have to switch up your image and do something for your father to get the people to look at him differently? Why was that a necessary thing if he was being honorable? We've been living in this imaginary, fictitious world for way too long. And they've been thriving off of us way too long. Stay woke. I don't trust none of them. Never have. I refuse to be a slave to them.